Alright, so in this video we are going to be talking about the Corsair Katar Pro XT, a 73 gram mouse Corsair came out with. There is a wireless version of this, but it has a horrible sensor, horrible weight, and this one kind of flew under the radar. It's extremely budget friendly at $33. It used a PMW 3391 and Omron 50Ms. So those are the specs right there, and I'm going to get into the sound test immediately. Right and left click. Side buttons, scroll wheel, DPI. Alright, so talking about the right and left click, they have no pre or post travel. If you can see, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this actually. No pre, minimal post travel. They have like this tensioning system, which I am a little bit worried about because it's kind of like this thing that sits on the switch, so it like the only pre and post travel is coming from the switch. But they are 50Ms, so they are really prone to double clicking. But they are pretty crispy. They're definitely one of the better Omron 50M implementations I have definitely felt. They feel a lot better than the G Pro wireless clicks. They feel better than the KPU clicks. They are extremely nice. Now, the only issue I have with any of the buttons, the main issue I have with this mouse, I'd say, is the side buttons. They're not an issue necessarily, but they do have quite a bit of post travel. Or pre-travel, my bad. Like quite a bit of post-travel, actually. But they just work as side buttons. I mean, they feel okay. They're extremely light. They get the job done. The sensor, as I said, is a PMW 3391. You can actually go by one DPI step. So you can have 11,101, 11,102. You can have one DPI, like 851, 852, whatever you want. In the scroll wheel, this is the other thing I really don't like in this mouse. The scroll wheel is just not good. It just feels like a normal Corsair scroll wheel. It's just really not good. It's extremely inconsistent. The click is inconsistent. It feels like you shouldn't be clicking it. It feels a lot like the Ultralight 2 click, in my opinion, or a Final Mouse click. It doesn't feel like you should be clicking it, but the scroll wheel itself is just rattly. You can kind of hear that. And I don't like it. And it does have quite a bit of like movement, kind of like not side to side, but like when you're scrolling it, you can kind of feel it like move around a little bit, like up and down, kind of. It's a really odd feeling. But talking about the cable, this is one thing I was really surprised with. So I have a paracord here just to compare it to. Obviously that's just not comparable, but as you can see, paracord, amazing, beautiful, perfect. This is like a better Viper mini cable. It is really stiff. As you can see, it is stiff, but it's really kind of flexible at the stress relief. I am on a wooden table though, so if it even gets close, but it is pretty flexible at the stress relief, and then it gets really stiff, so it's really nice for a bungee. It's actually one of the stock cables that are really stiff that I don't have an issue with. But a lot of people are going to be under the impression that this is a horrible cable just simply because the the cable itself is really stiff, but the stress relief is really flexible. So when it's in a bungee, like, I really don't have any issues with it at all. I don't even know if I'd paracord it. But if you don't like any type of stiffness in your cable, you're not gonna like it, obviously. But to me, it is bearable. Now talking about the feet. The feet are just black, like, feet. They're really thin, and they're really bad. Like, they're just really slow. They're not even that scratchy, honestly. They're just really slow. And I cannot find any replacement for these feet. Like, anything. Nothing. So, yeah. Now, getting onto the shape. The shape is something with this mouse that is a little crazy. It is a crazy shape. You definitely feel how thin it is in the back. This is definitely going to be a primarily fingertip grip mouse. I can claw it, but it's really not comfortable just because there's no flare in the back here. It's flare in the middle. People keep comparing this to the G203. It doesn't feel like a G203 at all. Here's a compare to the, I guess you already saw the FK2B. It is definitely a medium-sized small mouse. It is not a very big mouse at all. And it is pretty, it's just a weird shape. It kind of gets tall, but then really flat. And there are these side grips here, which are really bad. They're really slippery. But I think if you just put a normal like grip over it, it'll be fine. But as I was saying, the shape is kind of like the middle is a G203 kind of. And the back is just kind of like this weird like in flare. It kind of feels like you should be holding the mouse backwards. Because it flares out in the back here, and if I take, for example, an FK series, it flares out in the back and then comes in at the front. So it is a weird shape, and it will take an adjustment period if you're getting used to it. I did not like this mouse at first. I'm sorry for just adjusting my screen. I did not mean to do that. I did not like this mouse at first, but as I got used to it, it's become like one of my favorite shapes, I think. It is an extremely nice shape. It's kind of like a I don't know. It's like kind of like a diamond. It kind of feels like in your hand. But it is really nice. I would say you can't palm it at all. You're not going to be able to palm this thing. Claw, it is possible if you have really small hands like I do. But I would say this is a really nice fingertip grip mouse. And I would definitely recommend this over the G203 100%. And honestly, I would probably say this is the most underrated budget king at the moment. I don't think it necessarily takes over the Viper Mini, but I think at the moment this is definitely the second or third budget king in the mouse game. This is a very nice mouse, but I need a company to make new feet for this, because that is one thing that's really holding it back, like really badly. But that's going to be the end of this video. Peace. I would definitely recommend this mouse, and it is one of the best budget mice on the market right now. So yeah, sub if you're new.